Chicago Fire Season 13. Episode 20 is missing a few recognizable faces who get mentioned by name in the episode, but one of those absences feels particularly odd given what's next for them. It's fairly common for a few members of the Chicago Fire cast to go missing from an episode here and there. Networks often use cast rotations in series with large rosters to help cut costs. But a lot of one Chicago character exits are preceded by big storylines, and that doesn't seem to be the case here. At the conclusion of Chicago Fire Season 13, it is already known that two cherished characters will be departing Firehouse 51. It is obvious that Firehouse 51 will cope with the loss of their coworkers in Chicago Fire Season 14, given that all three One Chicago series have been renewed for the upcoming season. However, one of them feels particularly missing from the program lately, since Daniel Keary's Darren Ritter and Jake Lockett's Sam Carver are both leaving. Chicago Fire Season 13. Episode 20 explains why Carver's hardly appeared since his return. It's related to his reason for leaving in the first place. There have been numerous ongoing storylines that sometimes go ignored for episodes at a time, such as Chicago Fire's Novick and Damon romance. But Carver's relapse is the kind of storyline that loomed overhead even during his multi-episode absence from the show, particularly when Violet was struggling with what to write in her letter to him while he was in treatment. But since then, he hasn't appeared much. He had a heroic role in Post-Mortem, when Damon gets left behind in a fire. But Carver's role in that story was meant as a twist reveal, so he barely appeared on screen. Sam did return in the following episode to help Violet track down an unlicensed paramedic, but he was absent once again in the very next episode, in which the team has to operate on a skeleton crew. When explaining the numerous absences, Herman explains that Carver still has to complete another recovery program before coming back full-time. Since Sam doesn't appear in the promo for the next episode, despite one-shot panning by most of the cast, it's unclear if he'll be seen even once more before the Chicago Fire Season 13 final. Carver's ongoing absences make Jake Lockett's exit worse. Fans are hardly getting a chance to say goodbye. Of all the lingering storylines in Season 13, Chicago Med's Violet and Carver romance feels like it's hanging on by the fewest threads. He'd already taken off the first time they didn't work out. Just as they were really beginning to mend fences, Carver left again following a relapse. Now that he's back, there's been almost no focus on the relationship between Carver and Violet ahead of his confirmed exit. With only 2 episodes left before he says goodbye, it doesn't feel like their relationship arc is getting the closure it deserves. There hasn't exactly been a shortage of toxic relationships in Chicago Fire, and Violet's been involved in an unfortunate number of them. But there's always been a natural chemistry between Mikami and Carver, and Herman's casual reference to Carver's ongoing treatment raises the concern that Sam might leave the show by washing out of treatment and getting fired by Firehouse 51. Thankfully, there are still enough options available so that Carver's story doesn't have to end in tragedy. There hasn't exactly been a shortage of toxic relationships in Chicago Fire, and Violet's been involved in an unfortunate number of them. But there's always been a natural chemistry between Mikami and Carver. The cost-cutting departure of Chicago Fire's Jake Lockett doesn't have to mean bad news for Sam Carver. Although he could tragically die or relapse again, there's a strong chance that Carver will simply leave Chicago and return to his home in Texas. It could even give his relationship with Violet some closure, depending on his explanation for leaving. He tends to run away when he finds it hard to be around her, and maybe he just decides that he needs to run for the very last time. On the other hand, Carver's recovery could pull him in a new direction entirely. He previously tried to fill the hole in a life without alcohol by working extra shifts at other stations, but recovery could help him find a new way of filling his time that leads to a change in career path. These are both ideas that should have been given more time to build, but no matter how CBS is writing off Carver and Ritter, it'll be a bittersweet goodbye for Chicago Fire fans who only got to know Carver for 3 short seasons before he bid farewell. Enjoy Screen Rant's primetime coverage? Click below to sign up for our weekly Network TV newsletter. Make sure to check Network TV in your preferences, and get the inside scoop from actors and showrunners on your favorite series. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe My Fast Gossip 24 to our channel, and stay with us.